Hello and welcome back. G'day, as they say here in Australia. It's 2 o'clock here, and so it must be about midnight where you are, so I'm very grateful you took the trouble to join us. As usual, my guests are Jim Smash and Major Duffer. Well, it seems we're having a spot of dodgy satellite trouble here, so while our highly paid technicians run around and sort out the gremlins, Jim, do you have any thoughts about the Australian Open, the first of the Grand Slam tournaments this year?
Well, Harris, the local, he always does well at home, and I think he can expect some strong support from the fans here. His opponent, however, has come up through the rankings and has scored some notable victories in Hong Kong and in Barcelona, where the form was devastating. Also in Moscow at the Kremlin Cup, and in Frankfurt, where they took the World Tour Championships. I don't expect they'll have much trouble with Adam. I don't see any sort of upset today.
Major?
Well,
I think we've sorted out the problem, so we're just in time for the start of the match. Hello and welcome back. G'day, as they say here in Australia. It's 2 o'clock here in Australia, and it must be around midnight your time, so I'm very grateful you took the time and effort to join us. My guests, as usual, are Jim Smash and Major Duffer. It seems like we're having a little bit of satellite trouble here, so while our highly trained, highly paid technicians run around and try to sort it out, Jim, what are your thoughts on the... Well, I think we've sorted out that little problem, so let's get down to the match. On behalf of all the comic personalities here at Extreme Tennis, and I do include Major Duffer and Smash and Jim Smash in that, and yours truly, Cedric Lamar. We'll see you the next time. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Welcome back, or bienvenue to Gay Paris. But the tennis we'll be watching here today will be anything but gay. We're talking about some really manly, hard ball tennis, and that's just the ladies' singles. Jimbo, you know a lot about single ladies. You're a macho man. What's your secret?
Ed, are you on something?
I'm on life. I'm high on life. We're in the grip of cosmic forces. Welcome back to what looks like an exciting game, suitable for what has been an exciting tournament all the way through. There are 12 million francs up for grabs today. Jim, this is the second round of the Grand Slam, and one of the finalists here is the winner of the Australian Open back in January. Can they win here today and take the first 2 Grand Slam titles of the season?
I have a feeling they just may be able to pull something out of the bag here at Paris. They're facing a very partisan crowd, but they haven't let that put them off until now.
Major, the French player had a bit of injury trouble at the start of the tournament. Have they gotten over it, or have they recovered, do you think?
well, they tend to play a running game, so if they haven't fully recovered, it'll be very difficult for them.
Welcome back to this marvelous new indoor arena in Frankfurt. We are about to witness the culmination of the German tournament. There's a real buzz in the sizable crowd out there who've come along to cheer the local player who is taking on someone who has come from nowhere and leapt through the rankings this season after astounding victories in Barcelona and Moscow earlier this season. Jim, what chances do you think the challenger has of pulling off another upset as they have twice in this season?
I think his luck is going to have to change. I mean, with the home crowd advantage, I don't think we'll be seeing any upsets today.
Well, it looks as if the players are ready to start, so let's join the action. Welcome back. Jim, Major, anything to say about this German tournament so far?
A high standard of play.
Surprisingly.
And a few absolutely gripping games. I think it's going to be an exciting final.
I agree. Well, here we are in Frankfurt, Germany again, Jim. I'm about to watch an exciting climax to this tournament where once again this remarkable player has come from outside nowhere, really out of left field, to upset this player and reach the final.
Well, I tell you, the skill that this player possesses is phenomenal. Actually, in many ways, I think it reminds me of myself.
Well, actually, his style is very reminiscent of mine own. When I was a younger man, of course.
You?
Yes, me. Do you want to make something of it, Smash? You may have youth on your side, but I have experience.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's get back to the match, shall we? Once again, we find ourselves in this magnificent hall in Frankfurt, Germany. We've seen a tournament which has had some considerable tensions, a little give and take here and there. Boys, mixed doubles, singles, women's, what's your favorite, huh?
Oh, mixed doubles.
Vodka, straight up.
I beg your pardon, Major? Well, Major Duffer, Jim Smash, it's quite an impressive nighttime setting. Do you think the game will be as exciting as this wondrous environment?
Well, the hard courts of Hong Kong always favor hard and fast serve and volley play. And I'm expecting an exciting match, especially since the defending champion, Johnny Wong, seems to be in the best form of his career.
But it's still going to be a tough match, I reckon. Johnny Wong is facing a formidable opponent.
Well, let's get down to the action. Well, Major Duffer, Jim Smash, it's quite an impressive nighttime setting. Do you think the game will be as impressive as this wondrous environment?
Well, the hard courts of Hong Kong always favor hard and fast serve and volley play, so I'm expecting an exciting match, especially since the defending champion, Gong Li, seems to be in the best form of her career.
But it's still going to be a tough match, I reckon. Gong Li is facing a formidable opponent.
Well, let's get down to the action. Glad you could rejoin us. Jim, you won the Hong Kong Championship way back in 1992. How did you feel back there all those years ago, huh?
I was just thinking about what $55,000 could buy me.
That's disgraceful. The standards that this fine amateur game has sunk to. Since my day.
Major, when did you win the Hong Kong Open?
Well, Hong Kong was a long way to go to compete in my day.
Quite. Well, let's join the game, shall we? Welcome back. Major, you were saying?
Yes, tonight's match should be extremely exciting.
Quite. Jim, any comments?
No, I think the Major summed it up as clearly as usual.
Well, let's go down to the center court and see if the Major was right, and this proves to be an exciting match. Hello and welcome to today's match on Extreme Tennis. Joining me will be Major Duffer and Jim Smash right after these messages. Hello, well, it's finals time again, and down on the center court we have the top seeds about to begin their match. Joining me up here in the studio is Major Duffer and Jim Smash, and we'll be talking to them just after these messages. Hello, and welcome to today's match on Extreme Tennis. Major Duffer and Jim Smash will be joining me shortly, right after these messages. Hello and welcome to today's match on Extreme Tennis. I'll be joined by Major Duffer and Smashing Jim Smash right after these brief messages. Well, I mean, she wasn't that bad. I mean, after all, she had a... Oh, hello and welcome to Extreme Tennis is the name and Extreme Tennis is the game. I'll be joined by Major Duffer and Jim Smash right after this break. Thanks, fellas. Hello, you join us once again live on Extreme Tennis. I'll be joined by Major Duffer and Jim Smash right after this break. Hi, once again you find us in eager anticipation of another great day's match. I'll be discussing it with my guests right after this. Welcome back to Extreme Tennis. We're here in Moscow, Russia, in the purpose-built studio. I think it's a fast court, and it's going to make for some fast action. And I think major changes in each player's approach will provide us with a lot of variety and some exciting finishes. Jim, do you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's been a new mix of slice and flat serves that have really strengthened the serving game.
So let's see how his opponent responds. Welcome back. Boy, I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to this match, guys. You know, it promises to be a real doozy. I mean, here we have the 9 times world champ up against a third-ranked player who snatched the Barcelona Open title just 2 short weeks ago. This player really underlines the necessity for a firm baseline technique. What a game this is gonna be. Welcome to one very cold studio here in the heart of Moscow, Russia. At my side are my favorite comrades, Major Duffer and Smashin' Jim Smash. Boys, this cold weather has got to affect these players, right?
Well, not so much the local, Sergei Zhukov, of course. Sergei comes from the frozen wastes of the Siberian tundra. I think he trains in sub-zero temperatures, so I think today will probably seem quite mild to him.
Well, as for the opponent, a few warm-up exercises should do the trick. Now, in my day...
sorry to interrupt you there, Major, but I see the players are coming out on court, so let's go over to Red Square and join them. Welcome back to one very cold studio here in the heart of downtown Moscow. Here once again are Major Duffer and Jim Smash. Boys, this weather, this cold weather has got to be affecting these players. What do you say?
Well, not so much the local Olga Khrushchev, of course. Olga comes from the frozen wasteland of the Siberian tundra. I think she's used to training in sub-zero temperatures. So today I'm sure will seem quite mild to her.
Well, as far as the opponent is concerned, a few warm-up exercises should do the trick. Now, in my day...
sorry to interrupt you there, Major, but I see the players are coming out on court, so let's go down to Red Square and join them. Welcome back to Extreme Tennis from the heart of downtown Moscow. You know, it's amazing, ladies and gentlemen, to think that only 10 years ago, an event like this would never have taken place here in what was then the evil empire. But now, American way of life and democracy have shown the way outside of the evils of communism. Well, I'm sorry to say that we've talked so much, I don't have time to talk to my guests here in the studio, so let's go courtside. Welcome back to this marvelous indoor arena. Outside it's down to freezing point, but inside here, well, it's tepid. Indoor tennis, outdoor tennis, what are the advantages and disadvantages, Jim?
Well, the main... Well, actually, the only difference really is the weather. I mean, outside you got it, inside you don't.
And thank goodness we're inside, eh, Major?
Yes, quite.
Well, let's get down to the action. Any rumors of the game being in decline will certainly be smashed today as our 2 top seeds out in the center court grapple for supremacy. And up here in the studio, there'll be a lot of grappling with our own 2 top seeds in the form of Major Duffer and Jim Smash. Boys, any comments?
Well, I don't think the game's anywhere near a decline, but I've always felt a bit of entertainment and spectacle always draws a crowd and makes for a great atmosphere.
And you should know that better than most people, huh?
But let's remember, they're tennis players, not media stars.
And let's remember, we're here to see some tennis, so let's join the action, shall we? Unseated, unstoppable, and unique. Boys, what do you make of this Spanish player? Eh?
Well, it has to be said, and I'll say it, it's gonna take some skill to beat him.
Glad you said it, and not me, Jim. I actually think we have a very strong opponent before us.
Aloha. Welcome on behalf of all our staff here to welcome you to the Spanish Open here in Barcelona. Ole. What do you think, boyos?
Of your ridiculous accent or the tennis? I think it's going to be a straightforward, play down the line, no thrills sort of match. Both players must be exhausted after playing a long tournament in this heat. And so I don't expect either player to shine.
Unlike my friend Major Duffer here, I think today's game will be exciting in the extreme. Both players are in their top form at the moment, and they'll both undoubtedly have something they can pull out of the bag for today's final.
Well, let's take a look, shall we? Well, here we are again. Are you prepared for this season, boys?
Yeah.
No.
Well, let's hope our players are. Joining us on court number 1 is the defending champion, Julianus Tepler.
Who has a formidable power and agility. It's coupled with a devastating speed.
And the challenger, who remains something of a mystery, eh, Major?
Yes, this is the first season they have competed in, but their form so far in this tournament has been remarkable for such an inexperienced player.
Sounds like we're in for tremendous stuff, so let's join them down there on the center court. Thank you for joining us here at Barcelona for the start of the season we've all been waiting for. Who knows what to expect? Jim?
Well, we've got definitely got a new talent out there on court number 1. And it looks like they're really going to test his opponent, who he is a crowd favorite, but I don't think he realizes the force with which his opponent can hit back with.
Yes, I do think we've got a very young, agile youngster who seems to be able to maintain a good court coverage.
Plays a little too safe from the baseline, though. I mean, don't you think?
No.
Oh, well, let's get back to the game, shall we? Well, here we are in London, where players are seated by committee decision. And what does our little studio committee think who ranks top?
For my money, I would have to rate Charles Chumley. He has all the shots and power.
Oh, you can't be serious. Chumley's only in this tournament as a wild card, where his opponent's been beating top-seeded players all year.
You cannot underestimate Charles Chumley's strength of character, plus the fact that it is an extremely partisan crowd.
All right. You do have to give something to the fact that the crowd is British. God knows they've been waiting long enough to get a challenger in the final.
Major, did you ever challenge for an English Open title?
Yes, indeed. Now, in my day...
Sorry to interrupt you there, but we just learned that the players are going out to the center court to be presented to the royal box. So let's go down and check out the action. Proof that the Major once was a top seed in his day. But from our little committee, we can find no agreement on who ranks top. So let's go down and join the action in center court down there among the strawberries and cream. Affordable even for you, Major. Welcome to London, where today's tennis has been as good as the weather, which has been near perfect all week. So, what do you think back on the old turf, Major, huh?
Well, London's always been a favourite of mine. Grass courts are so much nicer, and there's more interesting possibilities. Nowadays it's training on hard court and inside.
I'm afraid I actually have to agree with the Major on this.
Well, on that unusual note of harmony, let's go join the action. Welcome back. Once again, it's London time, and for once we have 2 unseeded players in the final. And an awful lot of British interest in this one. Jim, Britain as a tennis power ain't what it used to be, is it?
No, it is not. I think Chumley's been very lucky to get into the final here.
You may mock, but his backhand with a full follow-through was a model of perfection.
Unlike your own.
The match is about to begin, so let's join it, huh? Welcome back as you join us minutes before the conclusion of what purports to be a suitable climax to what has been a quite remarkable season.
That's right. Say, what is your name anyway?
Well, it's Cedric, actually, but shall we get back to the more important matter, which is the match at hand? Pete Sampras, the reigning champion, is down there on center court facing a tough opponent who is looking just to win this match to become the first person to ever win all 4 Grand Slam tournaments since a long time ago. It looks to be a legendary battle between the world #1 and reigning U.S. champion and the player everyone has had to beat this year, with 7 championships alone under his belt just for this year. Jim, Major, if you were betting guys, who would your money be on?
I'd have to say Pete. His opponent's luck has to change, and he's facing his stiffest competition with Pete Sampras's awesome power.
Well, as you know, the British always stick up for the underdog. And after a long and bitter struggle, at the end of the day, there will be a new champ.
Well, let's find out, shall we? We join the match just as the players are coming out of the tunnel to a rousing cheer.